ready? Alright, so the first question is, when you hear the name Jesus, what image comes to your mind?
What image comes to mind?
Yeah, as a person.
Yeah.
As a person?
Yeah.
I envision, is that what you want? Like what is,
Yeah.
like what is
Yeah.
my mental
You see.
picture of Jesus? I picture somebody, maybe like brown skin, but I picture them like in that like classic Jesus pose, like sort of like 1 foot behind the other like this with like, and in the robe.
Yeah.
And it's what's really interesting is even as you asked me that question, I had like a flash of a very, very fair-skinned Jesus, and then it was like in the moment, like a fair-skinned Jesus, like it's like his skin transformed. So it's almost like Jesus became something different to me. I don't know. In that moment, yeah.
Is that like how you see him like throughout his life? Or like, do you not think of
I don't picture. I've never picture like a young Jesus.
Okay.
Like Jesus to me is always like that 30 something age dude.
So the next question is, who is Jesus to you?
Who is Jesus to me? Jesus to me is my personal savior. He's that's a hard question to answer because he's so much to me. Jesus is my all. He saved me in ways that it's hard to put into words. When I think about my life and where I've been and where I could be, I feel like all I can do is just be grateful that I know Jesus. And I know that might sound strange to people who don't have a relationship with you. Like, how do you say you know somebody that you've never sort of shook hands with and met? But in my faith as a Christian, I feel like I know him, even though I've never touched him because of the ways that I have felt him move in my life. Does that answer you?
Like you feel like you have a connection with him.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I can't say that. If I feel like I know the sound of his voice. As weird as that might sound, I feel like I know what he wants. He's a friend to me. He's like, I don't know. He's as real to me as my best friend is to me. Right? Like, so my very, very best friend, who people have heard me talk about, her name is Rebecca, and I have drinks with her, and she has my secrets, and I have her secrets, and we laugh and we cry, and she sends me cards, and she's real. I could pick up the phone and you could hear her. Jesus, to me, is as real as she is. That's how it is for me.
The last question is, it's like, does Jesus matter, and is he still significant today, like in your eyes and in the eyes of others like around you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to speak for people around me. I think.
Do you feel as though the world feels as if he's significant today?
Clearly, the world does. I think he's important in a number of ways. I think he's still relevant. I think particularly when you look at the Pope, the current Pope and the work that he's doing, I think to bring the Catholic Church back to a place of relevance. And I think he's doing a much better job than the Pope prior to him. And, if you went back, I think he's doing a much better job honoring Jesus' teachings about the poor and compassion and the role of Christians in this world. So I'm really pleased with that. So in that regard, when you think about Catholics as like this huge, collection of people across the world, I see Jesus as being even more relevant than he may have been in the past, where you found people turning away from him. I think also when you look at the references in pop culture and the ways that people try to honor him in their ways, and then if I think in a lot of ways dishonoring him or disregarding him, Jesus is still relevant because I think people keep bringing him back. And I don't want to get into something that's too political, but Jesus clearly is relevant because then you have, he's a part of so many things. He drives things politically in ways that I think people are still figuring out. So.
Alright.